A lot of people open their QuickBooks file and suddenly see dozens, sometimes hundreds of old payments sitting in undeposited funds. Bookkeepers inherit it, business owners accidentally create it, and nobody really knows how the list got so long. This is one of the biggest reasons why people hire me for a QuickBooks diagnostic review. I go into their file, figure out what caused the undeposited funds mess, and give them a clear plan to clean it up. And once we fix it, their books make sense again, and their income is accurate, and they're actually ready for tax season instead of being stressed or behind. Before we jump into fixing anything, you first need to understand the proper sales workflow in QuickBooks, because once you see how it's supposed to work, it becomes really obvious where things went off the rails. Then we'll look at the most common places QuickBooks users accidentally mess things up. And finally, I'll show you exactly how to clean it all up so your undeposited funds account goes back to zero. And that's the goal, my friend. Okay? I've added timestamps below for your convenience, so feel free to jump to the section you need. First is creating the customer invoice. On the accounting side, QuickBooks debits accounts receivable and credits income. Nothing hits the bank yet. This is just you billing the customer. Now, instead of just talking about it, let me show you what QuickBooks is doing behind the scenes. I'm going to leave this slide, switch over to QuickBooks Online, and we'll create a simple invoice together. Click on the plus button on the left side of the screen. Let's create an invoice. Here's my sample customer, Francis Scott, dated December 1st. I'll enter an invoice for $500 for services and save it. Now watch this. At the bottom, I'll click More. Transaction Journal. See this? QuickBooks automatically created debit accounts receivable $500, credit income $500. That's the behind-the-scenes journal entry QuickBooks posts every time you save an invoice. Next is the customer payment. When the customer pays, QuickBooks debits undeposited funds, and that's a temporary holding account, and think of it as your top desk drawer where you put your checks. And credits accounts receivable. So AR goes down, and the money moves into that temporary holding account. So let's leave the slide again and see that live in QuickBooks. I'll click the plus button. Receive payment. Choose the same customer, Francis Scott. Select the $500 invoice and make sure the deposit to field is set to undeposited funds. Yours might say payments to deposit. Save it and then click More. Transaction Journal. And here it is, debit, undeposited funds, credit, accounts receivable. That's QuickBooks moving the money out of AR and into undeposited funds. Now, you might be using sales receipts instead of invoices. A sales receipt is basically the invoice and the payment combined into one step. So instead of invoice then receive payment, a sales receipt does both at the same time. Here's a simple sales receipt. Click the plus button. This is for Frank Keefe, dated December 1st. I'll enter a $350 payment for services. Send it to undeposited funds and save it. Again, let's check the More button, Transaction Journal. You'll see QuickBooks debited undeposited funds and created income all in one step. Now that we've recorded the payments correctly, the last step is in the bank feed. Here's how to get to the bank feed. Click on Accounting, then Bank Transactions. And here's the key. The word we want to see is match, not add, because we already created the invoice and recorded the payments, remember? QuickBooks recognizes them automatically. So when the real bank transactions come in, QuickBooks says, hey, I found something that matches these deposits. If you click Match and Match, QuickBooks simply links the bank transactions to the payments we received earlier. No extra income, no duplicates, no undeposited funds problems. The purpose of the bank feed, this page, is not to categorize everything for you. Its job really is to bring in the transactions from the bank so you can match them to what you've already recorded in QuickBooks. Let's check our work. Go to Plus Grade, Bank Deposit, and look at that. Francis and Frank are no longer on the list. That's a win worth celebrating. Now let me show you a realistic way people accidentally mess up undeposited funds. Quick note, I'm working on the current year. Taxes haven't been filed. Later, I'll show you what to do if taxes have been filed and you're working on prior years. Okay? And before we touch anything in undeposited funds, there's one step you must do first. You need to make sure every transaction is already in QuickBooks, invoices, payments, and deposits. And the only way to know that for sure is to reconcile your bank and credit card accounts. Reconciliation tells you QuickBooks matches your bank statement. It reveals duplicates, missing payments, wrong dates, everything that can completely derail an undeposited funds cleanup. If you skip reconciliation, it's like trying to fix a puzzle without knowing if all the pieces are there. So once everything is reconciled and you know your file is complete, now we can safely clean up undeposited funds without breaking anything else. Here's the first scenario. Pretend this was you and this happened a few months ago. You invoiced Lily Evans. Let's date it April 1, 2025. Remember, this is the current year. Taxes haven't been filed. This was for a hemming job for $500. Hemming goes to alterations revenue. I duplicated this tab and pulled up the income statement. If you check your income statement, you'll see the $500 in alterations revenue. Perfect. On April 27, 2025, Lily paid the $500. So you click Receive Payment, choose Lily, click on that particular invoice, and send it to Undeposited Funds, hit Record. Let's check the Undeposited Funds list. There's your $500. Also correct. And now the problem starts. The bank only shows $430 because there was a $70 merchant fee behind the scenes. Maybe the client used Stripe or PayPal. Since $430 obviously isn't equal to $500, QuickBooks cannot match the deposit to the payment. So instead of the word match, you only see add. A lot of users click add, and that's what we'll do right now. They don't realize this is the moment where the workflow breaks. And when you clicked add, here's what happened behind the scenes. QuickBooks records a brand new deposit straight to the alterations income. Undeposited funds stays at $500. Income jumps from $500. Let's refresh the screen to $930. You now have duplicated income, and this is the classic undeposited funds problem. And here's the bad news. Overstating your income isn't just a bookkeeping mess. It has real consequences. My friend, when your income is doubled in QuickBooks, your tax preparer doesn't know it's an error. And the IRS definitely doesn't either. So what happens? You end up paying taxes on money you never actually earned. That means a higher tax bill and inflated quarterly estimates, all because one deposit was added instead of matched. Duplicate income isn't just annoying, it's expensive. Here's how to fix it. Go back to the home screen, use this handy-dandy search bar feature, and let's find Lily. You'll see 3 transactions: the invoice for $500, the payment for $500, and the deposit for $430. This is the one created by clicking add. This is your red flag. The invoice and payment workflow exists, but the bank feed created a second deposit. So we need to edit the incorrect deposit, so click on the $430 deposit. At the top, under Select the payments included in this deposit, check Lily's original $500 payment. Now the total jumps to $930, which looks wrong, but that's exactly what we want because we're about to fix it. Remove the bad income line, so scroll to add funds to this deposit. You'll see a line where Lily Evans was coded straight to an income account for $430. This was created when you clicked add. Click the trash can to remove that line completely. Now we need to add one more thing. We need to add the merchant fee adjustment. So click the add line, received from Lily Evans. Account is merchant fees, and that's an expense account. And we put negative 70. This negative line is crucial, my friend. It reduces the 500 payment down to the 430 that hit the bank. Now your total deposit equals the bank fee deposit, and you're fixing undeposited funds the way QuickBooks intended. Save and close. Let's check our work. Let's go to the undeposited funds list. Lily Evans isn't there anymore. Now let's check the income statement. Alterations revenue income shows $500. Merchant fees expense shows $70. Hooray! All right, I have 2 more examples for you. But if we haven't met yet, I'm Catherine Silverio, owner of Silver Bullet Bookkeeping. If you are feeling overwhelmed and you would rather focus on growing your business and have me clean up your books, call me or email me for a free discovery call and we'll set up a diagnostic review. I can help. Let me help. Okay, moving on. Here's another example. Use this when you're still in the current tax year and taxes haven't been filed yet. This is what you do if you inherited a mistake and you don't know how it got there. This is from 12 months ago, and you know this Jasmine car's $1,500 was deposited already and the bank was reconciled. Let's research the problem. We use the search bar and type the questionable amount, in our case, $1,500. You should see the original invoice. Let's click on it. Okay, this was for a very expensive handbag, and that goes to accessories revenue. Okay, let's go back. You see the payment and the incorrect deposit. Also, if you go to your income statement, let's go to the next tab. Be sure you're looking at the right dates. Check that income account, accessories revenue. Let's click on it. You'll see the incorrect deposit here and the invoice. Your income is duplicated. Who wants to pay taxes twice? Let's open the incorrect deposit. This is the one that goes straight to income when you add it straight from the bank feed. Inside the bank deposit window, add the correct customer payment from undeposited funds list. That's this list. There's Jasmine. Now the total jumps to $3,000, which looks wrong, but don't freak out. That's exactly what we want because we're about to fix it. Delete the line that went directly to income. You'll find that under the Add Funds to this Deposit section. Good news! This method doesn't affect your reconciliation report if you've reconciled for this month. Save and close. Now let's check your work. Let's run the income statement. The income account, alterations revenue, should drop back down to the correct amount. Yay! The duplicate deposit disappeared from income. Now, undeposited funds should decrease. Let's check that. So if you go check the bank deposit window, that transaction is gone. This is the gold standard, my friend. Here's example number 3. This is for a prior year and taxes have been filed. Before using this method, please know there's a generally accepted accounting principles rule or a GAAP rule. And here it is. Errors must be corrected in the period they are discovered unless the prior period's financials are being restated. So for businesses, this means if the year is closed and tax returns were filed, you generally do not go back and change prior years. You fix the error in the current year. You cannot edit the prior year deposit. It would change financials that were already sent to the IRS. So you use the zero impact deposit method, which clears the undeposited fund payment and reverses the overstated income in the current year. Here's what you do. Check your undeposited funds list by clicking plus create or plus new. Look at this transaction from forever ago, 2021. I see $80. Go back to homepage. Research this $80 using the search bar. Type 80 or whatever your suspicious number is. You'll see the payment. Let's check this out because we need to know the income account. All right, this was for services. Got it. Let's go back. And here's the incorrect deposit. This confirms the duplication. If you check your income statement, choose all dates, go to the said income account, which was services, you'll find two $80 here. Again, your income is duplicated. Let's fix this. We need to create a new deposit. Click the plus button. Even if the payment is from 2021, set the deposit date to the current year. Remember the GAAP rule we talked about earlier? This part is crucial, my friend. Select the old payment in undeposited funds, and this moves it out of undeposited funds. Add a negative line. This part is very important. Under Add Funds to this deposit, enter Received from Francis Scott. For account, same income account that was overstated, Services. And the amount we enter, negative $80. My friend, this negative amount is what fixes the overstated income. If you don't add this negative line, you will not reduce the inflated sales and the cleanup will fail. This is the entire point of the zero impact deposit method. If it's not zero, you did not balance the adjustment correctly. This clears undeposited funds and reverses the duplicate income, all without touching the prior year's books. Let's check the income statement. You will see income reduced by the duplicate amount in the current year, which is correct under GAAP. And if you check the undeposited funds list, Francis Scott is gone. This is the goal. No balances in undeposited funds. How are you feeling? Learned something new? Are you feeling a little hopeful? Well, if you're not ready to leave yet, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you'd rather have me handle your book so you can focus on growing your business, call, text, or email me for a free discovery call, and we'll get a diagnostic review scheduled and take it from there.